All right, so everybody is here for this class, right? For the Shy Girl's Guide to Confident Communication. Okay, making sure you're in the right place. Um, so let's get right into it, okay? So I decided to do this presentation because I realized that in the industry it can be really difficult to break through and communicate with other people that you might not know or even feel like you relate to specifically. So, we are going to go over some things that I have personally learned, and you'll learn a little bit about me as well. Okay. All right. Oops. Not ready for that one yet. So, the first thing I want everybody that is either shy or would rather communicate with nothing else but the machines we service every day to raise your hand. Yeah, that's me. Okay. So if you're like me, you are not alone. Okay. A lot of us would rather just bury our heads down into the machines we service or the computers that we deal with every day and not communicate with other people because it's easier, right? But we have to because networking is important and giving speeches is important and all of that. So I am Jennifer Chester, as she mentioned before, and I'm a mom of two beautiful kids. Kennedy is on the right side and Jackson on the left. They are 10 and 9 years old. So that's what's really important to me that I'm a mom. And then I'm also a BMET 2 for Crothall Healthcare. I work for the Harris Health public hospital system. I maintain all of the machines in the ACS clinics on the outside of the major hospitals like Bentab and LBJ. So all of the clinics on the outside of that. I am also the author and creator of Bella the BMET. And it's a children's book and just a character to get kids encouraged and excited about what we do as well in HTM. And I'm shy. I, I know you guys don't believe me, right? Okay. So I know what you're thinking. I do. I understand what you're thinking. She can't be shy if she's speaking to kids regularly, right? She can't be shy if she talks on industry podcasts. There's no way. She can't be shy if she was in a movie. And I know you didn't know that, but you know, I had to drop it in there. She can't be shy if she keeps signing up to do these dang presentations. There's no way. And I see what you're saying, and I wouldn't believe me either, but I promise you that it takes a lot of encouraging myself to get to this place. So, my story. Let me get to it because I've just been talking. So basically, my mom was a theater major in college and she used to perform for major crowds. She used to perform poetry and plays for large audiences. My dad is a Baptist preacher, so he would passionately preach in front of full audiences or full congregations every Sunday. And I would watch him up there doing his thing. Naturally, they expected to raise this extroverted, actress that would one day do major speeches at the presidential inauguration, right? But instead, they got me. I was a little girl who was given a solo in youth choir and stood frozen, unable to utter a word, leaving the church entirely like uncomfortable while I stood there trying to work out how I'm going to sing something. Okay. I would skip class even at the sign of public speaking. If they said there might be some public speaking, I wouldn't even go to class because I was concerned about how I would come off if I did any public speaking. And I was scared. I used to work for the Brave Stadium. I worked for a department called Entertainment Promo. So we would be the people that would hand out free bobbleheads when you came in the door at the baseball game. and they had the Tomahawk girls, and they were the cheerleaders, right? And one day, I mean, I would watch the Tomahawk girls, and on the sideline, I would do the dances with them, and I'd be so excited. And then one day, one of the girls quit, and the guy, the manager from Entertainment Promo, came up to me. He said, "Man, we really need somebody to fill her spot. Can you do it?" And I was like, "No, nope, can't do it. I am absolutely terrified of standing in front of a stadium of people and just, dancing." Okay. Um, so that was me. Like I was not an extroverted actress. I wasn't that person that just jumped out there and was ready to, do all the speaking that they thought they were going to have. So I had to start understanding what it meant to be shy, right? Why do I have this shyness? Where does this come from? Because it was holding me back from all of the things that I wanted to do. It wasn't that I didn't want to be a Tomahawk girl, it was that I was terrified to be a Tomahawk girl. You know, I could have been a cheerleader, but I was terrified to be a cheerleader. So I had to understand what shyness was and what it meant to me. So, what does it mean to be shy? I'm sorry, going back. I feel like I'm going really fast. No, it's okay. Um, so yeah, so we're gonna talk about what it means to be shy. So basically, I'm gonna skip my notes here because I okay. So being shy is not actually something we're born with, right? A lot of us think that we were shy ever since we were kids, and a lot of times that's not actually true. That's something that we have developed over time. Like the shyness kind of comes in. Have you guys, and it's funny because I watched this movie on the plane on the way here. I had never seen it. Have you guys seen what's the name of the children's movie? You know what the Disney movie with the anxiety, Inside Out 2. Okay, there was a point in our lives where we were just, we were invincible, you know, and then there were damaging experiences that happened to us to make us feel some type of way and take down that confidence. Okay, so we need to figure out how to defeat the shy. And you're in luck because I wrote this guide just for you, because the shy girl inside of me is standing in front of you right now giving a presentation. And I want you guys to be that same person one day. If you're feeling the shyness, we want to figure out how we can defeat that shyness so that we can network with other people in the industry, so that we can give presentations, please, especially for the ladies in the room. Sign up, do these things. So we're going to work on that today. So the first thing we have to do is unlearn the insecurities. And you can notice that I crossed out gain confidence, because I really am secure in the fact that I do not believe that you can gain confidence, because we're born with all the confidence that we're going to have. Okay. What we have to do is, okay, so this is my little illustration that I did. And we're floating along in our little confidence boat, and everything is all happy and good until a damaging experience happens, and then there's a hole in our boat. Okay, and we're slowly starting to sink, and each one of those damaging experiences start causing more holes in our boat. So we have to learn, how do we patch up these holes? How do we stop these holes from sinking us and making us feel like we can't do all of the things that our shyness holds us back from? So of course, I'm encouraging you to think about it. Think about those limiting thoughts that you have, or those confidence killers, right? So I have a question for all of you. I'm going to answer the question for myself, but I want you to answer the question for you. When I'm feeling shy or anxious, I'm afraid people will think I am blank. What is it that stops you? What is this? The answer to this question is what's going to stop you from doing the things that you need to do to be confident, or to be a confident communicator. So mine is weird. I always think that people are going to think I'm weird. If I say something strange or if I say something that I like I have a friend who makes fun of me because I have geriatric taste in candy. Like I love peppermints and like stuff like that. And he's like, what is wrong with you? Like you should I like I like butter pecan ice cream. It's like, I would be living the life if I was in a old folks home. So So I always think that, people are going to think that I'm weird, right? But that's not really the root of the insecurity. The root of the insecurity is if that's true, say for instance, I am weird, what does that say about me, right? What does that say about me? If I'm weird, what's the big deal? So what? You're weird. What happens if you're weird? So this is the illustration I came up with. This is what I think. Like we talked about the Inside Out movie. It's like all of a sudden all these things rush in. You start thinking, oh my God, if I say that, they're going to think I'm crazy. They're going to think I'm weird. And everybody's going to laugh at me. I'm going to be the laughing stock of the industry. And they're going to go around calling me clown all day long. Like these are things, I mean, that's extreme, but that's how we think, right? So we start to think of all those things that are going to happen to us. So what we're going to do is we need to start throwing out those insecurities. We need to get rid of them. We're going to start thinking on the other side of it, the positive side. What happens if they think I'm weird or if I do something that's weird? How could that turn out positively? All right. So I don't know if you guys brought paper or anything to write down, but if you didn't, just take it in your head. So what we're going to do is we're going to take stock of those feelings about yourself. So take those things that you think are so attackable and write them down or make a mental list. Okay? So I just wrote a couple here. Like one of the things that I you know, get nervous about is that my level of success, right? Like I'm older, I'm not like way up in the industry somewhere. I'm not a director of anything. I'm just a biomed. I say that all the time. I'm just a biomed, right? So that's one of the things that holds me back sometimes too, because I think, who am I to talk to so and so because I'm just a biomed? Or who am I to give a presentation because I'm just a biomed? You know, and that is a limiting belief. And that's something that I feel like is attackable. Like if I get up here and I do a presentation, you know, all these people are going to think she's just a biomed. She shouldn't be up there. So I want you to start thinking of those things for yourself. When you go into those situations, what are some things that you think about yourself? Like some people are worried about their age. Sometimes we're like, oh, I'm too young. I don't want to go in that room full of directors and older people, and I'm only like 21. Nobody cares about what I have to say, but it's not true, you know? All right. So once you've thought about that list, we're going to talk about having compassion for yourself. Okay. Once you've figured out what that list of all those insecurities are, I'm too young, I'm too old, I'm not a manager or a director or whatever. We're going to have compassion for ourselves. So we're going to go back and think of those things, and we're going to approach them as if we were giving compassion to somebody else. Because it's really easy to give compassion to somebody else, but it's difficult to give compassion to ourselves. When we look in the mirror, we see all of our insecurities and our flaws, right? But when we look at somebody else, oh my gosh, I love that outfit. Isn't she gorgeous? I wish I looked like her. Why can't you wish you looked like you? You know what I mean? So that's why it's really important to have that same compassion that you have for somebody else. Like I talk about my daughter all the time because she's tiny. She's like, really small, and she hates being small. But I was like, girl, just give it some time. Okay? Small is not a bad thing. Okay? But she doesn't see it like that right now, right? She sees herself as small and everybody picks on me and this and that. But I have to keep letting her know that when you look, there's nothing you can do about being small. Have compassion for yourself. If you saw somebody who was small, what would you think? Oh, they're so cute. You know what I mean? You would think, oh, that person is so cute. So you have to have compassion for yourself and realize that, hey, I'm kind of cute, you know? All right. All right. So now that we have gotten rid of all those pesky insecurities, because I'm sure you did that while we were talking, all of those insecurities are just gone out the window because we talked about it. I joke. I know that's not true. All right. But so, as I said before, I normally speak to kids, age group maybe 8 to 12 years old. So, I don't normally sit and talk to people like this that are being so well behaved and sitting here not asking me to go potty every 5 seconds. So the thing is, I like to be way more interactive with my speeches. I don't like for you guys to have, for you guys to sit here and just stare at me because it makes me uncomfortable. So what we're gonna do is I want everybody to stand up and you're going to find somebody that you don't know at all, okay? Never met them before, and you're going to sit next to that person, okay? No more familiarity. Okay? Find somebody else to sit next to. We're going to have some fun. I know she's gorgeous, isn't she? All right. All right. Once you have found your new seat, go ahead and have a seat. Once you get familiar with your person next to you, because you're going to get real familiar with the person next to you. If you don't leave with nothing else today, you need to leave with a new friend. Okay? All right. So, like I stated before, I usually talk to kids, and my motto is learn it, build it, play it. So, now that we've talked a little bit about shyness and we've learned a little bit about shyness, now we are, like I said, we're dropping those pesky insecurities and we're about to get right into it. We're going to build on our confident communication. Okay? This is the part where we build on our confident communication. So, it's time to have some fun. This needs to be a safe space for everybody. So if you didn't let go of the securities before, there's a door. Let them out, okay? Make sure they leave because it's no room for them in here, okay? So now we need to communicate with one another. All right, so this is my play it slide. So every time you see a play it slide, I want you to find somebody that you have something in common with or something that you have in somebody that you have in common with. Well, you can just use the person you're sitting next to right now because we just moved. And you're going to take a selfie with that person. Okay? You're going to take a selfie with that person. So you're going to have to talk to them, find out what you guys have in common. I don't care if you have on the same color shirt or whatever it is, you need to take a selfie with that person. All right. All right, this is more like it. Now, this is more like 8 to 10-year-olds. Quiet down, class. Quiet down. It's okay. I'm kidding. This is more like my 8 to 10-year-olds now. All right. All right. So let's get into the confident communication part. We talked about being shy. Now we're talking about confident communication. What is communication? So, I forget the guy's name. His name is Albert. No, not Einstein. I think it's Moravian. I think I'm pronouncing that right. So Albert Moravian Yeah, that guy. He came up with, he did studies that prove that there's three sections of communication, right? There's words, body language, and inflection. Okay. So words are actually only 7% of our communication. Body language is 55% of our communication. And inflection is what? What's left? What, 37%? 38? They're on the slides. Y'all see it. All right. So your body language speaks before your words do. So if you step into a room and you're looking at the floor and your hands are down and your shoulders are slumped and everything, you do not look very open to communication. People are not going to walk up on you and be like, "Hi, it's so nice to meet you," right? You have to have open body language. So with the person next to you, we are going to practice some body language techniques. The first thing I want you to do with your person, you are going to teach them or tell them how to make a ham and cheese sandwich, but you are not allowed to use your hands. Hands have to stay behind your back, okay, the entire time. Behind your back. All right? So you have about 30 seconds to do that. Ready and go. Mhm. All right, how many ham sandwiches do we have? How many ham sandwiches do we have? Everybody did all right? Did it feel weird not using your hands to explain how to make a sandwich? Yeah. Okay. It probably looked as weird as it felt. Okay. So that proves that, like I said, body language is so important in our communication. Okay. So we want to make sure we have open body language. We don't want to walk around with our arms crossed or, our hands on our sides and all that stuff. We want to have open body language because that's how we communicate. That's how we talk to one another. Even if you don't say any words, you're communicating with your body. All right. The next one is inflection. This is my favorite. Okay. So, how you say what you say matters. And I say this also because a lot of us, especially us younger ones, we like to send text messages and things like that. So, I have proof that text messages are not a good form of communication. Okay. So, oh shoot, of course my slides messed up. Okay. So, the sentence is, I didn't say she took the money. Okay. So, the first way, I didn't say she took the money. What does that mean? I didn't say she took the money. I didn't say she took the money. Right. I didn't say she took the money. I didn't say she took the money. That's three different sentences. That means three different things. Now, if I sent that in a text message, how is the other person supposed to know what I'm trying to say? Okay. It depends on the emoji. Right. Exactly. But the point that I'm trying to make is it's important for us to actually talk to one another. You know, sometimes an email is not good enough. Sometimes a text message is not good enough. We have to communicate. We have to step out of our comfort zone. We have to walk up to that nurse or that technician or that person, and we have to say what we mean and mean what we say. We can't send an email all the time because this proves that what you say might not be what she read, okay? Or she or he read. All right. So words, okay? Words are only 7%, but biomeds like words. We will give you the whole technical document, okay? And a lot of times when we're talking to the medical staff, they have no idea what we are talking about. Don't throw the technical document at them, okay? Because I mean, we all like to think that everybody has all of this information trapped up in their heads, but they don't, okay? We do, but they don't. So we have to make sure that when we say our words that we're clear and concise and we don't have to, like I said, don't throw the technical document at them because then they think you just, yeah, I mean, basically you're just blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you remember, what was the cartoon? Yep, Charlie Brown was wah, 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 wah. That's what's happening. Nobody understands what you're talking about. So you make it plain, right? All right, play it. Find somebody in the room that you have something in common with and take another selfie. I told you I was going to throw them in there. All right, everybody, settle in, settle in, settle in, find a seat, get comfortable. Okay. If you hear my voice, clap one time. If you hear my voice, clap two times. If you hear my voice, point at somebody who's talking, they shouldn't be talking. Okay. All right. So now we are going to talk about preparation because we've talked about shyness, we've talked about how to effectively and confidently communicate, and now we're going to talk about how we prepare for situations before we go into them and use all that stuff. Okay? So how do we prepare successful communication? A hot steaming pot of communication. All right. So when I was in the military, there was actually 6 P's, but one of the P's I'm not allowed to say in the presentation. So um, proper preparation prevents poor performance. So going into a situation, going into a networking event, going into a presentation, going into all of these different situations where you have to communicate, we need to make sure we're preparing for that. And I'm going to show you how. Okay, so let's talk about talking and then let's talk. So the first one I chose just a couple of instances that might be important to what we do. I'm giving up on the iPad. I've chose just a couple of instances to, that we all encounter. And one of them is industry networking events or conferences, such as the one that we're at, right? Yeah. So basically, one of the things that you can do to prepare yourself before you go to an industry networking event is just come up with 3 to 5 open-ended questions before you go. Just write them down, put them in your head, think about them. 3 to 5 open-ended questions. They can be, oh, so why are you here at the conference? You know, just a couple of questions that you can ask anybody in the room to start a conversation because that'll make you feel a lot more self-assured and a lot more easy about it because you'll already have them prepared. You don't have to stand there like, well, I don't know what to say, and you'll have your questions already prepared in your back pocket, ready to fire them off, right? Another thing that we always want to do is dress to impress. Okay. So this is a commercial. We've already tested the video. It doesn't work. But I don't know if anybody ever seen the Super Bowl commercial? It's like the funniest commercial in the world to me, and I was going to show it. But basically, this guy has a stain on his shirt, and every single time he talks, the stain goes. So it does it like really loud on top of everything he's saying because the stain is speaking louder than him, right? So we want to make sure that we dress to impress. We want to make sure, and that doesn't necessarily mean that you got to have, some Gucci suit on or nothing like that. It just means dress with what you're comfortable in. Like I was telling Nicole earlier, I wore tennis shoes today because the last presentation, I went home, my ankles were swollen because I tried to wear heels and impress all of y'all. Okay. So this time I learned from that lesson and I wore tennis shoes, but I'm comfortable in my tennis shoes and I'm happy in my tennis shoes. And it makes me, I'm not worried about my ankles. So I'm able to communicate. All right. So presentations. And this is something I'm really encouraging everybody to like apply for presentations. Get out there, make yourself known and get out there and do some presentations. One of the things that I do to prepare for a presentation, I don't know if you guys could hear it because the microphone is sitting right on my heart. My heartbeat when we first started this presentation was boom, 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 boom. I was like really, really, really nervous. I've been saying it all weekend, all week, but I've been saying it all week. I'm nervous. But just to release some of that there are a couple of things I can. So basically, mentally, I start taking deep breaths. I drop my shoulders. I also drop my tongue to the bottom of my mouth because I find that I'm clenching my teeth. And then I'll shake my hands to kind of release some of that stress. And then, like I said, just constantly take deep breaths before I do a presentation. That's one of the things that I do to prepare for a presentation, not to mention months and months of creating slideshows that never look like I prepared them to be.